Hi again, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me for another Light in 10, where I share inspiration from the Bible in 10 minutes or less. And today, our focus takes us to St. Matthew chapter 22, and I'll be reading from verses 15 to 21. So here we go. I'm reading from the King James Version. It says, "Then went the Pharisees and took counsel how they might entangle him in his talk. And they sent out unto him their disciples with the Herodians, saying, Master, we know that thou art true, and teachest the way of God in truth. Neither carest thou for any man, for thou regardest not the person of men. Tell us therefore, what thinkest thou? Is it lawful to give tribute unto Caesar or not? But Jesus perceived their wickedness and said, Why tempt ye me, ye hypocrites? Show me the tribute money. And they brought unto him a penny. And he saith unto them, Whose is this image and superscription? They say unto him, Caesar's. Then saith he unto them, Render therefore unto Caesar the things which are Caesar's, and unto God the things that are God's. And this is the portion of God's word that we'll be focusing on this afternoon or whenever you view. So I chose to focus on this today because we seem to live in a paradox, meaning we are governed by laws and regulations of our own country. We're also governed by the norms and the values and the culture of our country, of our society. And we are also governed by the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, God Himself, who resides in heaven and who has prepared for us a special way in which we should live so that we can be ultimately reunited with Him. There is a great controversy between good and evil in our world. So the good would seem to be on the side of God, and the bad, of course, would seem to be on the side of the world. Therefore, Jesus asks us that we be in the world, but not of the world, and that we should be transformed by the renewing of our mind. So there's a clear distinction as to the way of what are God's, or the things of God, and the things of the world, or the ways of the world. And especially in this time where we have coronavirus and the government is asking us to do a number of things. Pretty much what's happening is that our normal way of life has been disrupted. There is nothing normal about this new normal. And because of that, there is a lot of adjustments that we have to make in order to fulfill the obligations and the requests of the government. And sometimes it will seem as though we are even suppressing our Christianity in order to do that. What do I mean by that? Churches are closed, for example. So we would be going to church week after week, sometimes several times for the week, and we're unable to do that anymore. So it would seem as though that our Christianity is being suppressed. So the knee-jerk reaction, being people of God, is to go to church regardless of what's going on. But we know rationally that that is not the best course of action to take. So how can we render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's and still render to God the things that are God's? First, we have to recognize that God has created this world. He has created us for a special purpose. And as his people, we are called to be light in the midst of a darkened world. We're called to be salt, savoring the world and ensuring that seeds of peace and love and joy are sown among the world so that people can know him for themselves, and ultimately we can all be reunited with Christ to live in heaven once he returns for the second time. Now, because of that mandate, sometimes we might feel as though we can cherry pick the things of this world that we choose to comply with or not. But there's a danger in that. And Jesus points that out here in St. Matthew chapter 22. He says that, this is what, verse 18. He says, why are you tempting me? Because when you look at the tribute money, it has the image and the superscription of who that belongs to. So automatically, you should return to the owner something that appears like him. And the same goes for the things of God. So even though I live in Jamaica, and the norm and the culture is Jamaica, no problem, man, right? And we are fun-loving people, free-spirited people. We have a very vibrant entertainment culture, and you know, we love to have a good time. Not because that is a part of my culture, it means that I have to participate in every single aspect of my culture. Certainly as it relates to partying, drinking, smoking, having multiple sexual partners and relationships. Those are choices that I get to make, and I get to render to God those choices that I make of living a righteous life here on earth. So those things belong to God. But the things as it relates to driving and going over the speed limit, I cannot bring God into that equation to say, God, save me from this speeding ticket. Because the reality is, the government, or it is in law, that if you go over a certain speeding limit in a particular area, then you're liable to get charged, or you're liable to get a speeding ticket. And so in that moment, I have to, as a good law-abiding citizen, maintain a good speed limit. And if I do happen to go over the speed limit, then I have to ensure that as a good law-abiding citizen, that I pay my ticket, or whatever charge I get, I honor that charge. So in this time especially, it may seem like a paradox where you feel that in order to be a good Christian, you cannot pay attention, or you have to disregard the law of the land. Please don't feel that way. Jesus himself provides us with that instruction and that example, where he says, render unto Caesar the things that are Caesar's. Whatever the government asks us to do, it's in our best interest. But whenever it comes on impinging on our own rights and freedom of conscience and liberties to serve God in a way that we want to, that is when, of course, we have to render unto God the things that are his. So if the government asks us, gives us a day, gives us 2 days to shop, let us not be unreasonable. Let us rather be good law-abiding citizens and see how best we can comply with the government. If the government asks us to worship from home, to worship online, then let us do that, because it does not detract from our own relationship with God. Once those things aren't being impinged upon, once those things aren't being breached, then we can safely render unto Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and unto God the things that are God's. God bless you as we continue to serve Him and allowing His light to transform our lives.